Thanks very much, Mark. So, has anyone had much experience with data management at all? Yeah, a few people. So, I'm going to propose a slightly different role as far as how you can use data management, and that is in order to give your data meaning. One of the key questions whenever I'm with any of my clients is, do your reports answer a business question? Without that, it's very, very tough to ever produce any report which can be actionable. You won't be able to do anything with it, it will have little value. So, taking a look at how this can be manifested, let's take the simple figure. Often when creating reports, this is perhaps where people stop. They've got their number out, it's true, it's correct, it's valid. But it has little meaning. You can't action that, you can't make a decision based upon that. Perhaps you can use a traffic light system. This means good, your 5's good, but still, what are you going to do about that? You can put it as a proportion. Now within its own context, you know it's roughly that, 5 out of 7. Or you can normalize it so you can compare it to other metrics, and you have a percentage. Yet, still, you're not getting a business question. You can't action that at all. 71% can mean anything to many people. So the next step, perhaps, will be to look at it over time. Look at any trends or rolling periods. But again, the problem is you're not answering a business question because this is enclosed in its own ecosystem. You're comparing it to the context of itself. So this is perhaps when it gets interesting. This is perhaps when you actually have some meaning which relates to the business as a whole. You're comparing it to forecast. A forecast is an actionable thing. It is something that relates to the business. It's not just a number. So this probably shows us, even though we thought that we'd maybe doing pretty well, 12% above last year, this actually shows a problem because we're probably investing too much money in this area. So we're way over forecast. So at least you can action it now. You can focus on other areas, other departments. So whenever producing any kind of data source, I always focus on producing something that's business actionable. So whether that's from SQL, Excel, directly into an ERP, from an API, whatever it is, the output, the goal should be to create that single data source. A few tricks that you can have here. You can look at joining data together. So in our previous example of joining your data with your actuals with a forecast, this is where this idea will come in. Or you can compare it to budgets, but you have a real world anchor, let's say, whereby you can compare something which is a concept to something which is an actual. Appending data, similar idea, but you're looking at a union here. The interesting thing about this is if you get a data management layer to create this, what you'll find is that you're actually able to deliver your data to the business without having to get involved with manual tasks. So many times I've seen accounts departments having to manually add adjustments or credit notes at the end of every month. If you've got that manually happening in Flow, then you will be able to have actually your data up to date as it goes through the month. And another example, the sort of the obvious one, but the transformation. Transformation of data, looking at calculations. This is not necessarily something that you want to be doing in your reporting layer necessarily. You can do, but for example, if you're looking at cost of sales, for example, you're going to be looking at freight charges, packaging, you're going to look at handling charges. There's going to be so many different things. You don't want to be doing that necessarily in your front end. You're probably going to want to put that in your data management layer. But regardless of what technology you use, it always comes back to whether your report answers a business question. This is really the Holy Grail. But one last takeaway from this, not only does your report answer a business question, but is your answer actionable? There's no point in having a bit of information unless you're going to act upon it. A few bits of further reading for yourself. The Medium is the Message, Marshall McLuhan. A wonderful book on basically changing the meaning of stuff depending on the context. It sort of undermines any number. It makes numbers irrelevant. Put it in context and it will give you a new meaning for you. Don't make me think Steve Krug is about user experience. It's about user experience, as simple as. And the visual display of quantitative information, regardless of its arguably boring title, Edward Tufte, Godfather of Analytics. If you haven't already, check that one out. Thank you very much.